Right on, guys. All right, who's ready to get this workout started? Woo! We've got 1, 2, 3 undercover cars that think that's a good use of our tax dollars to come here and bother these people working out. It's illegal for you to be working out, but you can go to the beer store, you can go to the farmer's market right there, line up, have all the candy you want, but you can't be here doing this. We got these guys who got a fucking problem with it. Good to see you guys. You want to work out? What's the ticket for? I can't hear you with that fucking muzzle.
Failure to comply with the public health order.
Failure to comply, because all these people working out is illegal? They can't work out here, is that right? They come right here on the fence. We're not doing this in a private location. My house is next to one of the busiest streets here. And they come here and they gave me 3 fines so far, $1,300, $1,300, and $2,600.
Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Lincoln J for Rebel News, and today I'll be sharing with you the story of Shaun Zimmer. Shaun is one of the many people we are helping out through our campaign at fightthefines.com. We need your help crowdfunding a legal team to help Shaun fight back against over $5,000 worth of tickets he's received. Shaun runs a boot camp out of his backyard in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Now, with Manitoba formerly having some of the strictest lockdown measures in all of Canada, it came as no surprise to see that Shaun was at the receiving end of these fines and constant visits from law enforcement. Check out some of the footage.
We've got 1, 2, 3 undercover cars that think that's a good use of our tax dollars to come here and bother these people working out. It's illegal for you to be working out, but you can go to the beer store, you can go to the farmer's market right there, line up, have all the candy you want, but you can't be here doing this. We got these guys who got a fucking problem with it. Good to see you guys. You want to work out? What's the ticket for? I can't hear you with that fucking muzzle.
Failure to comply with the public health order.
Failure to comply, because all these people working out is illegal? They can't work out here, is that right? But they can go to the liquor store and buy liquor, right? Right? You should be fucking disgraced of yourself, bud.
I had a chance to catch up with Shaun in Winnipeg and hear his side of the story. Now, I'm going to need you to stick with me to the end of the video so you can see how you can help Shaun fight back. Have a listen.
So I guess to start things off, can you just give us a little bit of a background on what actually takes place here? What are you running? What's organized here?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Shaun Zimmer. And what we're doing here is taking a public stand against a tyrannical rule that we're seeing across Canada, specifically Winnipeg, where we're at right now. So I've opened a boot camp in this backyard. We got a few individuals. So we're taking a stand saying all of this isn't right. I'm helping people come together and have a voice and show that there's people they can connect with that feel the same as them. Because I know it's more so people not scared of the virus, they're scared of the ridicule or scared of the fines from just opening instead of waiting until they're allowed to open. So here, we're free men and women taking a stand, showing you that you can do the same. That's what we're doing here.
Why is it important for you to continue holding these sessions here? What do you value about it?
The biggest thing is our future generations. You have a lot of people right now obeying, getting behind the segregation because they won't fight for their God-given rights and freedoms. And I'm not okay with that. I will sacrifice everything I need to set the proper foundation for my children and their children to come. That is one of the biggest things we're doing right now.
So I understand police have come, they find you, correct? So Can you tell us a little bit about what the interactions with them have been like, or just in your own words, what's been going on with the police?
Absolutely. So the police, as you'll see in the videos, they're pretty ashamed of what they're doing. You know, they say they're just doing their job. They come right here on the fence. We're not doing this in a private location. My house is next to one of the busiest streets here. And they come here and they gave me 3 fines so far, $1,300, $1,300, and $2,600. And they just stick it right in the fence and they get their butts out of here as quick as they can. They won't even give me their names. They say it's for going against public health orders. Because originally when I started this, you weren't allowed to gather with more than 1 person, then 5 people, and then 10 people now. For me, if you tell me I can gather with 10,000 people, I want 10,001. You don't tell me how many people we can gather with here. So the police interaction was pretty embarrassing on their part. I'm going to be honest with that. Yeah.
What exactly are the fines for? I'm assuming it's for violating the public health order, right?
Violating the public health order, yeah. Violating the public health order. That's it. They won't even describe it to me. Like I said, I asked them to identify themselves. One gave me a badge number. That's it.
Do you need me to explain this to you?
I need you to identify yourself, first and last name and badge number, and take the mask off, please.
I will give you badge number 3257, and you can get all the information from there.
Yeah, you want to identify yourself? We got 3 police officers. So why are you guys doing this? What is that for? You never explained one of these to me yet. What is it for?
You've got more than 10 people. You're only allowed 10 people.
Only allowed 10 people. What about the hundreds of people at the farmers market buying alcohol and baked goods and all that? 2 masks on outside. I think they might have a little bit of issues with their cognitive function with that lack of breathing. So it's sad to see, honestly.
As you may know, we have a campaign at Rebel News called FightTheFines.com, where we crowdfund legal fees for people just like yourself and provide them with a top criminal defense lawyer to back people like yourself 100% against fines just like this. Now, I'd like to formally offer you the campaign. Is that something that you'd be interested in?
Yeah, absolutely. I would be interested. I think that's a great avenue to take to push back. But for me, you can find me $100 million for what we're doing here. I don't care. I'll never pay it. But most definitely, I would love that support so we can take a stand against this and show the individuals, bold individuals like myself and you out there watching this, are willing to take a stand and push back on this tyrannical rule, 100%.
Do you have a message for any of the viewers that are watching right now that will be potentially supporting you in the near future fighting back against these fines?
Yeah, absolutely. Stand up. Stand up. Be a bold individual regardless of the crowd. As masculine individuals, as alphas, women and men, we need to stand up for what we know is right intuitively, no matter what other people say. You have a lot of people starting from scratch right now. Some people starting from scratch for all the wrong reasons, going along to get along, worried about what their peers think, right? We all live in this fake society these days. Be bold, start from scratch the right way, true to your heart, and the people you'll connect with, those will be significant relationships that will matter a lot more. We'll be setting the right foundations for our children. That's why we're doing this here.
Do you have a message for Brian Pallister, Justin Trudeau, just basically the country as a whole, the government as a whole? If you could speak to them right now, what would you let them know? What's your message to them?
Resign and get somebody in there for the people.
Now, thanks to your generous donations, we were able to provide a legal team to help Shaun fight back against these unjust fines. Here's what Shaun's lawyer, Stephen Whitehead, had to say. Have a listen. What comes to mind from a legal standpoint regarding the case of Shaun Zimmer?
Well, what we're looking for first is if there have been any charter rights violated for the accused. In this case, specifically under Section 2, Section 7, and even under Section 15, and I'll run you through that a little bit. Under Section 2, we have a right to peaceful assembly and a freedom of association, which clearly are impacted here by virtue of the legislation under the Public Health Act, under which Mr. Zimmer received his tickets. Second of all, we're looking at Section 7, which speaks to the life, liberty, and security of the person and our rights enshrined therein. Now, what's really interesting about this video is, Mr. Zimmer rightfully points out the arbitrary nature of the law and the disproportionate effect that it has on different individuals.
Legal for you to be working out, but you can go to the beer store. You can go to the farmer's market right there, line up. Have all the candy you want, but you can't be here doing this.
There is a farmer's market in the background that is allowed to proceed outdoors, where people can shop for goods, where if he's running a business that is doing physical activity, he's limited in his rights for doing that. So, we look into the disproportionate effect it would have on him and the arbitrariness of the law, whether or not the law has any rational connection to its purpose as clearly stated. Finally, we're really looking at the equality rights. As we know in Canada, every individual is equal before and under the law and cannot be discriminated against. Of course, that is limited by whether or not the law has an ameliorative purpose for a disadvantaged group based on race, ethnicity, origin. That's clearly not the case here. So what we're trying to do is ensure not only that this was all properly done in a procedural sense, but that the fundamental charter rights of Mr. Zimmer were not affected. And of course, it is our take that they were. What we do is we look at the facts, we conduct interviews with our clients to try to assess what charter violations may or may not have happened, or what issues there are within the disclosure and the procedural elements of the case itself. In this case, we'll have to work with Mr. Zimmer and assess those things, and we'll be filing charter notices where applicable.
Steven is going to do a great job fighting back, and his team has already had some big victories for Canadians with similar fines. If you want to help Shaun fight back against these unjust measures, please go to fightthefines.com. With your support, we can continue to help Canadians all across the country just like Shaun. For Rebel News, I'm Lincoln J. If you're on the receiving end of a fine that has anything to do with COVID-19, please don't pay that fine. Go to fightthefines.com. We'll get you a lawyer and we'll fight it for you.